quarter teal.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. I think we're live, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, 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 beautiful people. We are back for another episode of Drama Free Black Love, where I am Jasmine Stith, aka the Pretty Plug, and I have.
I am Dr. Alicia with Coaching with Dr. Alicia. I do couples coaching, individual coaching. I'm a social worker and a college professor, training the next generation of therapists. It all rests on my shoulders, the people I work with. So,
Amazing. And
hi, everybody.
hey, every week we come on and we talk about drama free Black love. And our three topics is transparency, healing, and then offering compassion and empathy to those around us, especially when it comes to engaging in Black love. So this series was birthed to raise awareness about healing, restoration, and relationships, especially within the Black community. So, y'all, we're in Black History Month. This is the month that is dedicated for us, I guess, if you think about like the United States. But every day, 365 days of the year, we are Black. We are proud to be Black. And this week's topic is going to be a therapeutic way to love. I have been seeing a ton of content online where people are just like, maybe we just got dated all the way wrong. Maybe we just don't know how to date. Maybe we're just super confused on when you meet somebody or you don't meet somebody or what that whole experience even does. So I wanted us to talk about it this week, as well as we can do like an icebreaker. It's Valentine's Day next week, Tuesday. And a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, maybe if you're single or in your relationships, you may be feeling the pressure to go out, spend a ton of money to show somebody that you really love them, and the whole 9 yards. But let's just talk about Valentine's Day, Dr. Alicia. What do you
Yeah, and
what are you thinking about Valentine's Day?
you know what? I'm thinking that Valentine's Day is also for great new love, going out and buying Valentine's gifts for each other. But I also think it's for people that have been together for a long time. What are you going to do to like keep the spark going and keep the passion going and keep it fun and exciting? This is a great time to shovel out time on a special day, because we understand it's owned by Hallmark and the chocolate companies or whatever. They really want you to do that. But I mean, you can take something like Valentine's Day and make it a recommitment to your relationship in a way where all of us have busy days. Valentine's Day is in the middle of the week. So what? Take the day off if you have someone special in your life and let that person know how much you appreciate them. And I don't feel like we do enough of that in relationships. How about that? When you're dating, never miss an opportunity to show appreciation. And we all know about love languages. Learn about your partner. What do they like? If words of affirmation is what they enjoy, write them a poem or a love letter. If acts of service is something wonderful, offer to clean their car or give them a back rub or do something fun. So it's important to just get to know and pay attention to your partner and give them something. Let them know that you are paying attention to them. It's the little things that count. It's not the big things. We don't have to have big gifts or elaborate displays of love. It can be the little things that matter too. So that's what's important on Valentine's Day. And it's cold outside. It's cold where I am. Is it still cold where you are?
No, it's starting to heat back up. Obviously,
It's starting to heat back up.
just wanted to have a little hiccup, but it's starting to warm back up again.
Okay, you all are thawing out. So we're getting ready to thaw out. And we got to make sure that when springtime comes, you have someone nice on your shoulder with you so that you can have someone with you. So you better treat them good on Valentine's Day.
And so I got a
The
question.
end of cuffing season.
Yeah,
But go
I
ahead.
got a question. Like, as long as you've been doing therapy for couples, what are some of the main complaints or things that you hear, especially around like the Valentine's Day season, about, your partner maybe spending time with you or not spending time or making that time to make it special? Because I'm pretty sure that there are some people that will say, well, it's an American holiday. I don't have to wait for a holiday to show you I love you. And then on the other end, when is when are you actually making time in your relationship? Maybe it's weekly, monthly for your relationship. So like, what are some of those different things that you see in couples that they can really work on, especially as we come out of all of the various holidays centered around family?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I mean, Valentine's Day is just one day, and so it's how were you treating each other for the entire year? It's like Valentine's Day is um for couples who are smart and get it right, they know that Valentine's Day is a great day to whatever we've been battling and whatever we've been up against in our relationship, we know to put it to the side for celebration of love, because that's how a lot of people see Valentine's Day. Smart couples do that. Couples that aren't smart and want to hold grudges and have the built up resentment, they won't see Valentine's Day in this way. They'll see Valentine's Day is, I'm just going to do whatever, get them a card, do what I'm supposed to do, and not have any meaning behind it. So sometimes there's really empty. It's like you're doing things just out of duty and not because you really want to. And if it's not coming from love in your heart, then I call it empty. And people can tell. You can tell when someone really is feeling you and if they're not. So Valentine's Day is just an accumulation of how you've been treating each other leading up to this yearly event.
Okay. Thank
Mhm.
you for answering that question.
Yeah.
Because again, there is a small argument between, it's just another day, and also like, no, it is something that we should put effort towards. So you're leaning towards the latter. If you're in a relationship, make the time for it. Make sure you're actually setting the time to show your partner that you love them. Don't worry about if it's a part of the American culture. Just actually do something for your partner and set something aside. So you guys,
Yeah,
y'all
you should
heard
be
me.
doing this. I think it's wonderful. You should be doing this anyway. You should be celebrating everything with each other. I mean, I think never let an opportunity go by where you're not showing appreciation and gratitude for each other. It could be, it's Friday. Let's just show appreciation and watch a movie. We had a hard week. Let's do something special for each other. I do think that you know, on a daily basis, you need to have, and it doesn't have to be a long period of time. It could be a half hour, 20 minutes of time that you set aside to reconnect with each other. Definitely on a daily basis, even on a weekly basis. Maybe go out to lunch or breakfast or something weekly. On a daily basis, do small tokens to maintain that connection. And then, of course, on a yearly basis, if there's important dates or anniversaries or birthdays or holidays or all of those things, I think it's great to celebrate those things. Take pictures, blow it up, put it in a frame, put it on the wall, let it be a symbol of your love for each other so you can remind each other while you're together and have these wonderful opportunities and experiences of which you can, reflect on and look at pictures and post it on social media. Why not? Say, hey, I'm enjoying Valentine's Day, or I'm enjoying this person's birthday. Hold each other in the light.
Mm. Okay,
Yes.
I love that. And at any time, if anybody in the audience has any questions or has any comments, please feel free to jump right on in. The next thing is, a lot of people may be taking Valentine's Day as their first date opportunity. Maybe, like you said, it could
Oh
be
my gosh.
it could be just taking a stab and saying, "Hey, would you like to spend Valentine's Day with me?" So I wanted to know, like, in your eyes, what makes a good, healthy first date? Some people don't think that the coffee is good. Some people think that spending too much on a dinner is too much. What do you think a really good, healthy first date is?
I think it's been so long since I've been in the dating arena. I think for sure I like micro dates at the beginning to be careful. So you could say, hey, let's just go out for coffee. Is that what people do? Yeah, they go out for coffee. So it's like, if it's not going very well, you can finish your coffee and just be on, you can go on your way. Thank you very much for your time. But if you've gone on, if you had a few phone calls, you've interacted with each other in a very casual way, and Valentine's Day is coming up and you want someone to be your Valentine, I think it's really cute to go old fashioned. Will you be my Valentine and go out with me for Valentine's Day? I think that's really cute. So what's your question? Your question, what would be a good first Valentine's date?
Or just
Ah,
like a good first date in general, because it's going to lead us into the stages of relationships.
ah,
So there
I
has
think
been controversy on some women saying, I don't want you to take me to a coffee. That's not putting enough effort. And there has been controversy that says like, okay, well, I can go and spend $100 and have a very expensive meal with you, but then it could also lead to nothing. So it's like, it's two extremes on both ends.
I think over the course of conversations with somebody, and you feel like, just think about it. You meet someone new, apparently you're physically attracted to this person, and you have a casual conversation. This is what I'm imagining. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm intrigued. I'd like to get to know this person a little more. And so as you get to know someone, this just makes sense that it would progress into something. Or you can just decide, you know what, I think I'm gonna put the brakes on here. I saw some red flags that I'm just like, I don't know about. But if you see nothing but green flags, you see nothing but, you could kind of imagine yourself, or you're curious enough to get to know the person better, and you decide you want to go on a full-fledged date. Well, I think it all depends. It depends on the couple. It depends on you. It depends on your money situation. It depends on where you are in life. And it depends on the wants and the needs of the two people who are going on a date. If you're a very adventurous person, then maybe a good first date would go, I don't know, bowling or go hiking or something fun like that, or go tubing or get on a boat or something if you're very adventurous. If you, I don't know, go into a movie, maybe that's important, dinner and a movie, or going to the park, having a picnic. There's a bunch of different ways where you can get to know each other better. And in those activities, you can, I really like, let's say, what would be a really good first date for me would be something like miniature golf. I think that's a cute first date because it's competitive, and then you can kind of know each other a little better in that competitive way. I think bowling is a good first date personally. I don't know if like going to the movies is a good first date. I kind of feel like, because you're focused on a movie, you're not really spending quality time with each other. Maybe like once you're already dating and you know each other very well, that'd be a good like third or fourth date. But that's just my personal opinion. It all depends on who you are. It depends on the couple. It depends on what their interests are. It depends on the weather. If the weather is good, maybe you could go. If you live in Chicago and it's the summertime, I'd go to the beach. I'd go to I don't know. I'd go to the park. Chicago has a ton of parks. There's a ton of Chicago in the summertime has a lot of festivals. That's an excellent first date. You got the Blues Fest, you have the Jazz Fest, you have the Taste of Chicago. There's a whole bunch of sort of things that couples can do on the first date. So it depends on the personality of the couple, depends on the geographical location of where you are and what's possible. It depends on the weather, where we are, the weather. If it's cold outside, you have to do indoor activities. And it depends on your income and what you can afford. You definitely on a first date don't want to overextend yourself on a first date if you are or I know a lot of people who go on first dates and they like, you know what, no pressure, I'll pay for my meal, you pay for your meal, we can just go Dutch. Or sometimes there are women who will ask a guy out on the first date and say, I'll pay for it. And then if we decide we want to go on another date, then you pay for it. I think at this point, there's no clear-cut rules on dating. You make your own rules and you do what's comfortable for you.
Okay. I want to say one of the best first dates that I probably had was like bowling, because we both kind of like talking smack to each other and being very competitive. And then some other good first dates that I think I've been on was like painting with the twins, and where I actually knew the person. It wasn't like the first date wasn't painting with a twist. Fun fact, I have like a horror story. Last year, I had went on this, I guess you could consider like a first date with this guy, and we did painting with a twist. And he had got mad at me because I wasn't talking to him during the painting with the twist like experience, because I was so focused on painting. I didn't want to take it home. And and afterwards we were supposed to do karaoke or whatever. So I found it completely funny that the whole date like went sour just because I wasn't super talkative and I wasn't like super invested in the whole experience. I was just like, well, technically probably Painting with a Twist isn't a good first date. I think it's a part of the multitude of dates that you go on, but probably not a good first date because you actually do have to focus on painting. And
Yeah,
I
you
don't know who
do.
can paint and talk and keep all of the energy alive during that whole experience.
I do think karaoke is a fun first date.
Think so?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, if you could hold a tune or if you can't, I just think it's really cute. Yeah, I like that. I love karaoke just in general. So,
Okay. So no,
although I can't sing, can you sing, Jasmine? I think I can sing, but I
I
can't.
think I've posted myself singing. That's the most that I can sing what I posted, and I think it was the Can We Talk energy, and that's all I had. I ain't have nothing else to give to nobody. Okay, I
Wait
can.
a minute, Jasmine. I've heard you sing. You got an excellent voice, by the way.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Alicia.
You do.
I will not get paid for singing, and probably nobody will hire me in order to carry a tune for their people. Okay.
Okay. Well, you'll be surprised. Some of these singers are mediocre, but
So
that's you know what? Put that down as another topic for us to talk about. I have to tell you the backstory later. You tell me.
okay.
Remind me to tell you, and I'll explain it to you.
Okay, cool. So let's just say it's not necessarily about Valentine's, but when it comes to relationships and when it comes to dating, I learned, and I've been doing my research, there are actually 5 stages to relationships. And today's episode is a therapeutic way to love. So I'm going to mention the 5 stages and then we're just going to walk through them. The
Okay.
first stage is attraction. Like, obviously, like you said, Dr. Alicia, you find somebody and they're super cute to you and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I think you look good. Maybe you got a good smile. Maybe you have good facial features. Maybe you have good physical physique. That's like the first stage. And even on dating apps, like the whole swiping comes on if you find someone cute or not, or if they're attractive. The second thing is curiosity. Obviously, you're trying to figure out, who is this person? Do I know you? Do we have any connections? How do you vibe? All the things that comes with being curious. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is crisis. It's when your relationship takes a plummet. So that means no matter what, in most relationships, you're going to be attracted, then you're going to be curious, and next thing you know, y'all going to get in some kind of argument, or y'all not going to see each other's point of view. Y'all not going to be on the same page. The fourth thing is deep attachment. I don't know anything about this part, and I feel like I can't wait to hear you talk about it, but deep attachment to people, and then commitment. Commitment, I guess y'all in it to win it, whether you are choosing to be married, maybe you're choosing to be in a long-term relationship, whatever have you, the last stage is commitment. So let's just unpack it. Attraction.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, before you even get into attraction, I'm attracted to you and you even see each other, you have to put yourself in this mind space that you're ready to start dating. And I have to take my hat off to anybody who's willing to put themselves in the dating pool. That means you have to have faith. You have to throw caution to the wind. You have to embrace all your fears and say, you know what, I'm going to do it. And a lot of us, before you get to that point of putting yourself into the dating pool, before that, it's for a lot of people, it's preparing yourself. You're coming out of another relationship. You're healing yourself. You're scared. A lot of people a lot of clients I have put themselves in a box. They're just too afraid to even let their guard down, to even want to be attracted to somebody, or if they are attracted to someone, they'll never let them know because they're scared. So hats off to anybody in stage 1 that's just allowing themselves to be lovable. Remember we talked about being lovable? So just to begin, it's a big deal to get to stage 1 where you can find somebody that likes you, and that person you're attracted to someone and that person is attracted to you. That's a big deal. Many people get stuck just in the stage 1 where they're trying to find somebody. Yeah. But if there's a match and there's that initial attraction and you become very curious with people. That's where all the hope is. It's like all of my issues are now solved. It's the early intense stage of a relationship, and it's very normal to experience. All relationships have this. It's the honeymoon. It's the beginning stages, and it's infatuation. This is not real love, by the way. It's infatuation, and it can last. Remember, I talked about it could last up to 2 years, or a year and a half. Sometimes it lasts only 6 months for some people. But this is where you start to notice all of the things that you have in common with each other. You're like, oh my God, he's a runner like I'm a runner. He likes to read the same kind of books I read, and you ignore all of the things that are different. So I love this first stage. I think it's called the promise stage, hope and promise. And it's a beautiful stage, but it's infatuation. It's not real love.
Okay.
Yes.
And so the next stage they talk about is being curious.
Yeah. So curiosity is where I think curiosity is a very important stage, because it's where you're asking questions and you're trying to find out if that person's values match up with your values. Like, okay, you cute and everything, and I can go out to dinner with you and you can string a sentence together that makes sense to me. But now I need to find out the core of you. What's your value system like? How did you grow up? What's your past relationships are like? This is the curiosity part that's so important, because you will get to know somebody by watching them. Sometimes it's not direct questions. It's, putting them in situations and seeing how they react. Seeing if there's somebody you can actually, I think, the first stage is you can go out to dinner with them and feel comfortable. This curiosity stage is where you're thinking, okay, can I bring them around my friends and not be embarrassed? You put them in situations because you're curious about who they are, their values, where they come from. You want to go deeper into their core of who they are. Are they narcissistic, or are they open? Are they transparent? This is where you introduce them to some of your friends, because sometimes we all get blinded and we don't know. Be like, you need to meet this guy and see what am I missing? So I like the curiosity stage. That's an important stage.
The next one is crisis.
Crisis is normal. Just, it's funny. You almost need to, I wish couples would make a joke out of it, because be like, here it comes. Even at the infatuation stage, you got to be like, well, it's coming, because we need to be realistic. You're two different people. You're going to have differences, and therefore you're going to have conflict. Healthy couples have conflict, by the way. But smart couples know how to get through it. So this crisis stage, I like calling it the disillusionment stage.
Disillusionment.
You're like, wow, so my partner is not as wonderful as I thought they were at the beginning. And it's so funny, because I almost look at it like the infinity symbol, where it just kind of moves back and forth. I think that's how you need to approach this crisis stage. You need to say, okay, this is normal. And when this happens, we're disconnected, and you get out of your flow. So the infinity symbol should be like a wave that's flowing.
Okay.
It's like a flowing.
I got a question. So let's say you and your partner, y'all not seeing eye to eye.
Yes.
Do you just take a small step and say, hey, like, we're literally in crisis mode. Like, let's take some time. But how do you know it's not time to end it? Well, I feel like if you haven't gotten to like the attachment or the commitment phase, because you still got to go through these stages, how do you know it's not time for us to end it? It's not time for us to walk away. It's not time for us to be like, I'm done. Bye-bye.
Yeah, well, I think when you get to a crisis, I think you should go back to curiosity.
Okay.
You need to go back to curiosity. You need to say, hey, wait, something's amiss here. Tell me where you're coming from. What evidence did you gather to come to this conclusion? Because it's different from me. Remember, the disillusionment crisis stage is where you're now noticing areas where you're different. And this is an opportunity to get to know each other better. Smart couples know this. Smart couples are saying, oh, wait, we're different. Let me try to figure out how we're different. And then you can make a decision if this is something you want to live with.
Mm.
I mean, it's healthy, to figure each other out in this crisis. And that's where you get off the flow. Because remember, stage 1 and 2, you're flowing. The crisis is like there's a break in the flow, and really smart couples become curious again. And once you're like, oh, now I've gotten to know you better, now I get who you are, and I'm okay with that. And then you get back to flow again. You get back to this harmony stage. And it's important in this stage not to criticize each other, not to allow, especially if you're in a committed relationship and you're going to be in crisis often. Smart couples recognize this, and to restore and to get back to a sense of safety, because what it does is that it disrupts the whole security of the relationship. You're like, whoa, what just happened? And I think it's important in this acknowledgement not to let anger set in, not to let things fester where the resentment sets in. I have seen couples in my office who have been married to each other for 20, 30 years, and they never got through this disillusionment stage. They're trying to make that person become a carbon copy of themselves, and that's impossible. Nobody wants to do that. They want to be seen and recognized. And so I think it's important not to, because your feelings are going to be hurt.
Yeah.
It's normal, because and this is where you need to have conflict resolution skills. Most of us don't have it. Most of us were never modeled the proper way to resolve conflict, which is the number one reason why people are in my office. They can't get through this disharmony, this stage, and then they end up being silent. They withdraw. They get into these patterns that are very toxic. And you have to be willing to apologize. You have to be willing to see your part in the situation where it all kind of like fell apart. And this is a true test. I think all love needs to be tested. So I love the disillusionment stage. The crisis stage is necessary, as far as I'm concerned.
Whenever I've literally like been in that crisis mode, I feel like I want to retreat. I want to run away. I want to. I don't know. Are we really meant to be? Because obviously we're getting into it, or we're not seeing eye to eye. So I like that you said, no, this is actually normal. Mm-hmm. Work through it. Go back to curiosity phase, and then obviously there may be another crisis that comes about, but then the next stage happens where it's deep attachment.
Because
let's talk about it.
Where the attraction stage and that infatuation, that's not real love. Once you get through a crisis and your love has been tested, all love needs to be tested, right?
Yes.
That's where you get into deep attachment. That's mature love.
Okay.
That's real love. That's a true sense of security. And in deep attachment comes when you're able to repair, when you're able to talk about what's happening. You're able to really see the truth in each other. And what comes with a lot of that is a grieving process, because you have to grieve the relationship you thought you were having at the beginning. You have to grieve that.
I'm still right there. It's not.
Yes, it's a grieving process, because it was infatuation. And in infatuation, you have blinders on. You don't see the entire person. But the deep attachment is saying, I love you and your flaws, and you love me with my flaws. And I see your baggage. All of us have baggage that we bring into a relationship. It is not something to be used as a weapon against somebody in relationships. It is something to be used for compassion. Remember, we talked about compassion? This is where compassion kicks in. And sometimes compassion can lead you to where, I don't know if I want to live the rest of my life like this. But sometimes compassion is, I see you. I see you for who you are, and you're beautiful and perfect, even with your flaws. And when you see each other in that way, that's mature love. And you do have to, it's a grieving process, because you have to grieve that perfect relationship you had in your mind when you first started dating. You have to grieve that, because that wasn't even real in the first place.
Yeah. That's different. This takes maturity. Let's start there. And I don't know how people are, especially in your younger 20s, as you're navigating throughout your later 20s and going to your 30s, dating really does require you to be intentional. it requires you to say, all right, I know that these are the potential things that could impact us, but like, I'm going to stick with it, or I'm going to get to know you. Like, it requires time, commitment, compassion, empathy. It requires so much. And do you think, like, of all the things that it does require, like our generation, as you've seen, do you think we really have the wherewithal to do it, to really stick in there?
I really that's yet to be tested, because I think this new generation is so used to things being catered to them where they're not pushed to stretch and grow. And it starts with our educational system, because they have this new system in our educational program where it's called individuation.
Yeah.
Individuation is like, you are an individual person, so I'm going to tailor the way I teach you to your specific strengths. And each child is going to get individuation. Well, the problem with individuation, well, a good part of it is that children become more comfortable, not as anxious, and can learn, figure out how they learn and adjust to that. But the down part of that is that we are not accustomed to adjusting. And there's a lot of people with adjustment disorder. Adjustment disorder is an actual DSM diagnosis. Adjustment disorder, where you've never been pushed to stretch yourself. You've never been put in situations where you've had to, change. You've had to be flexible. Everything has catered to you. And so it makes it really difficult. How are you going to compromise? Compromise is going to feel like somebody stole something from you, when it's just a normal part of relationships. It's compromise, not compromising who you are as a person, but you have to be able to, you can't get your way all the time. And if I want to have my way this way and this other person wants to go that way, then are we going to just terminate the relationship because of that? No. How are you going to stretch and grow and okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go this way today. Tomorrow we'll go the other way. And then we're more the wiser. So, I think that's what takes this commitment, which is that last stage that you talked about, is, committing yourself to the relationship.
And we had one question before we go to our final stage. And it was, how quick do you go to the curiosity stage? So yeah. I'm guessing that person is saying, like, okay, I'm at attraction and then I go to curiosity. So that's the question.
I don't think you should ever leave the curiosity stage. I think that there's always new and exciting things to learn about your partner. I think curiosity is a better approach to conflict than blaming them, putting them down, criticizing them, getting defensive, withdrawing, all of those things that aren't helpful. I think curiosity should be something that you should aim for, particularly during conflict, because that's what it's going to take to push through the crisis, is to become curious. Tell me what's going. Wait, hold on. Time out. Stop the presses. Explain this to me a little more, because I want to understand you better.
Yeah.
That's how you get to real love. Real love. I'm searching for real love.
Okay.
Now I'm singing.
Jalen, thank you so much for asking that question. And then we had another one by the book. She said, or he or she said, great discussion. Thank you so much, by the book. Really appreciate you for tuning in tonight. The last one is commitment. It took all of this to get to commitment. Hold on.
So
let's think about it. It took all of this to be my girlfriend or be my boyfriend or be my husband. Like, what commitment are we talking about? Because I'm getting a little confused. Break it down.
I love commitment. Commitment is really great. Commitment is saying, out of all the people in the world, there ain't nobody I want but you. That's commitment. Out of all the relationships that are possible, I'm not looking at other relationships going, I wish my relationship was like that. Commitment means that you would pick that person over and over again if you had to hit the reset button and start all over again. In a nutshell, let's just say that's what commitment means.
Dang, that's you talking right there.
Yeah.
I do you think it's natural that when you're in a relationship, sometimes you're like, you know what, dang, I wonder, you know, what it would be like. If you have those thoughts of what it would be like to be with someone else, that means that that's not your person, right?
Well, I mean, you need to have a conversation. You need to talk about that. You need to say, you know what? Here are some things that I'm thinking. There's some things that are missing. But you know, when you start looking at other people and your eyes are starting to wander, then your commitment level is in question.
Yeah. So, okay, that makes sense. But it seemed like it took a lot just to get to the commitment stage. But once you get
Mhm.
there, you're pretty locked and loaded. And so you're saying, hey, at commitment stage, if we ever go through another crisis mode, then we take it back to curiosity and then start over. And it's just like a continual pattern in building that relationship or building that bond with someone else. Okay.
There you go.
Mm.
Now you're ready. Now we all know. Now we understand. This is normal. This happens. This cycle happens in every single relationship. It
Mm.
happens. Survey somebody. Go take these stages and ask somebody. You can interview a couple and say, "Tell me about this," and they'll be able to talk you through it.
Mm, I believe that. I believe that. So I know it's 8:40. I don't know, Dr. Alicia, if it's almost time for you to go. I don't know if that means a quarter. I was
Yeah, I have. Well, yeah, I have to start. I got somewhere I got to be.
yes. And so you guys, tonight was just all about not necessarily preparing you for Valentine's Day, but just to give you some more tools and information on what are the stages of love? What are the stages of relationships? What are the stages when you find somebody cute and like what do y'all have to go through to like get there? So again, thank y'all for joining us. We are obviously be back probably next week is the actual Valentine's Day. I'll be at a wedding. Dr.
Oh,
Alicia, I think I don't know if you'll still like, you know, I think we
I
said we'll
might.
hop on Instagram, but
Okay.
um next week I'll actually be experiencing love for its commitment in its entirety. So I'm excited about that to be at the wedding. But nonetheless, thank y'all for joining us. If y'all have any questions, feel free to send us all a DM. And we look forward to joining y'all next, maybe not next week, but the week after that for another episode on the Drama Free Black Love series. Y'all have a beautiful rest of y'all night.
Bye bye.